Growing up, my sister was definitely the golden child of the family, as my mom had always wanted a daughter. She was also the first grandchild. This meant that she had her rent paid in full, whilst me and my brother had to pay our own. Our grandparents would always give her better gifts, and she was the only grandkid to receive an inheritance from them. Our parents never made her do any chores and would fund whatever new lessons she wanted to attend. Despite having everything paid for, my sister ended up dropping out her second year after failing most of her classes. She has since worked only low-paying jobs and currently lives with our grandparents with her husband and daughter who's 4 years old. My parents are planning to retire next year, and they'll be downsizing their house so they can live with them. My sister now has either 1, moved in with another family member, me or my brother, or 2, rent her own place for the first time ever. My brother is completely no contact with our family, so they asked me to let them move in with me and my wife as we have space. There's no way I'm gonna let that happen. For one, my sister and her husband are both incredibly lazy and they don't do any housework, despite my brother-in-law not working and being home all the time. Second, my niece is a mini version of my sister and is completely spoiled and undisciplined. When I told my parents no, they suggested I help my sister get her own place by offering to be the guarantor. She can't get her own place without me. Their logic is that me and my wife could afford the risk, but it's not one I want to take. So my sister has since phoned me multiple times demanding why I feel okay with leaving her family homeless, and I think I don't need them anymore because I have a bitch wife. My parents are also giving me the silent treatment, and I'm starting to feel guilty. I could technically afford to be the guarantor, but I don't have much faith in my sister to pay rent. She is horrible with money and has never had to worry about bills or rent before, so I feel like she'll keep living the way she currently does and just expect me to bail her out. I explained the situation to my brother and he found it hilarious. She said she was finally going to have to be an adult like the rest of us. I do feel bad because if I don't help, my parents probably won't be able to retire and they're getting old. Should I help my sister out or just let her stay with the parents? One commenter says, "Sorry you're in this position, but you have to take care of yourself and your brother told you, let your sister be an adult." Comment 2 says, "Raise your child, spoil grandchildren. Spoil your child, raise your grandchildren." Comment 3, perfect phrase for the situation. You should at least ask brother for tips on going no contact and appreciate the silent treatment while it happens. Well, anyway, time for story 2. I'm a 30-year-old male, and I'm the only child of an only child, my dad and the daughter of a single woman, my mom. We are firmly middle class. When I was 5, my uncle, his wife, and my grandma were in a fatal car accident. As a result, my cousin, 7 female, a twin, were taken in by my parents. Up until the dad was a teacher, but with the kids and all they needed, like intensive therapy and constant reassurance, he quit his teaching job to be a stay-at-home dad. My mom got a small inheritance from Grandpa that she used to pay the house off. As for my uncle's life insurance and his wife's, they were split into 3 and put in a college fund for my cousins. From ages 5 to 15, my parents were too focused on my cousins that they forgot they had a son, and the money was so tight that I had to quit all my lessons because my cousins' lessons were expensive, and they needed to make sure they maintained the same standard of living for them. Well, at 15, my maternal grandparents sat me down. They said my parents drained my college fund and that they were threatened by my parents going no contact to not tell me, but I was old enough to keep a secret. They also said they would be giving me what they could when I go to college. I guess that was it for me. I stopped seeing my parents as anything more than an egg and sperm donor. Fast forward to when my cousin started college. I guess my parents remembered that they had a kid, but I wasn't interested in having a relationship with them beyond an occasional short message. Now I'm married, I asked my grandparents to attend as my parents. Then, because I am direct like that, I handed my parents their invites in person and told them that they are welcome only as guests or not at all. They got angry when they asked me why I just laid it out on them. Now they are trying to apologize, but isn't it a little too late to apologize? My cousins contacted me trying to make me take it back, offered me what was left in their college funds since they didn't even know I didn't have one and wanted to make it fair. I refused, of course. It's more the emotional neglect that hurts, not the money. But my wife said I was too harsh, that I should forgive and forget. Let me know in the comments section down below if I've gone too far. I don't know if I should just no contact them or give them another chance. Now comment 1 says no. Your parents are lucky you invited them. I do hope that you can have separate relations with your cousins though. Comment 2 says that you went from being an only child to being part of a 3-kid family and the neglected oldest. And I hate to say this, but boys usually get told to stuff it when girls are involved. Since it sounds like you didn't get therapy then, I hope you get some now. Now story 3 is going to be the final story of the video. This is a family conflict that came up recently. I'm a male, 50 years old, and used to work in the military, so I was away from home most of the time. When my only daughter was 4 years old, I discovered by accident, well, she's not mine. She was my older cousin's. I was the most devastated time in my life. Aside from what I was dealing with, my ex-wife and I ended up divorcing, and I caught contact with my cousin for years. I was done with him, even after my ex-wife, who married the same year of the divorce, died suddenly. My parents thought my ex's death was supposed to make everything okay, as they claimed she was the one who'd drive a wedge between me and my cousin, and I kept my distance. Since my niece started reaching out to me and we began seeing each other more often when she was around 17, she has always told me the fight between me and my cousin was about inheritance. My parents threatened to disown me if I ever told my niece that her mother was my ex and I should leave it alone, which I did since they told me. If they had to choose, they would definitely pick their granddaughter over me. My niece tried to get me to meet my cousin so we could talk since my cousin welcomed the idea, but I refused. I made it clear to her that she needs to stop forcing a reunion, and she respected my wishes. She's now 23 and getting married on August. She sent an invitation which I declined and returned right away. She called to ask why, and I said I am no contact with her dad, so I won't come since he will be there. My niece refused to accept that and came over and started criticizing me, saying I'm being unnecessarily bitter and resentful towards her apologetic dad over some inheritance, and she said she cannot believe how much hate and grudge I keep inside me against her dad. She said I either try to work things out with her dad or she will not be seeing me again. I felt hesitant at first, but I told her her dad and I don't have a usual beef and that her mother was my ex-wife, who her dad messed around with while I was in the military. My niece denied, saying her dad and grandparents never told her that. She thought I was lying until I showed her enough proof to get her to change her tone. She left in a hurry and she was seriously enraged. I later found out via my parents that my niece canceled all my family wedding invitations, put the wedding on hold, and disappeared after she had a huge argument with them and disowned her father. My mom has gotten very sick after this incident, and my entire family keeps harassing me, saying I ruined everyone's life with what I did just because my hate and resentment towards my cousin. They said they warned me not to talk to her about it, and now I'm going to deal with the consequences of alienating their granddaughter/niece from them. Let me know in the comments down below if you think the niece deserved to know the truth. Okay, let's take a look at some comments. The first commenter says no, the whole thing is a mess, but they should have told her. She's not a kid anymore, she's old enough to handle this information. Comment 2, not at all. They lied to her for so many years. She isn't a freaking kid anymore. Comment 3, lied to her for so long and so completely that it's almost led to her destroying her relationship with an uncle she loved and loved him back. And loved him back enough to take all the pain, him foolishly trying to mend the relationship with her dad without having any truthful information about what happened caused. Despite being the product of what thing that caused her uncle so much pain, must have been a hell of a doozy. Final comment says, I think the grandma being sick is a bullshit cop-out too. If she's really that sick for lying to her granddaughter, that's her own fault. I bet she's not even actually sick. She's just being a child that refuses to eat and in this messed up family. Anyway, I wish you luck. Okay guys, that brings today's story to an end. I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss some of these stories. We do stories that include drama from relationship dramas, from families, all sorts of stories. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also enable the notification bell below so you never miss any of it. Well, okay guys, I'll see you all in tomorrow's video.